Hey everyone, it's Troy Jackson with this week's weekly update. I want to start out by making sure everyone knows that Senator Libby, who is the Senate Democratic Majority Leader, announced this week that he was going to be stepping down from his leadership position. Myself and Senator Libby, since I came back in the Maine Senate back in 2016, have worked together in leadership in the minority, now in the last couple of years in the majority party. I definitely am saddened that he had to leave. I certainly understand, being a father myself, the demands that puts on a person with a family, a young family, trying to make a living outside of this building. On top of that, all these things certainly make it harder for everyday people to serve as state legislators across the state. And so I definitely want to thank Senator Libby for his service as a leader. I'm very glad that he's able to at least finish his term as a state senator for Lewiston. But I want to wish him well and thank him for everything that he's done for me and certainly for the caucus and for the people of the state of Maine. So on Monday of this week, Governor Mills came out with a statement about the paycheck protection loans that the federal government had given out to struggling businesses across the state because of the COVID-19 crisis. And, I certainly understand that, Maine is a small business state. Often the bills that I put in the legislature are designed to try and help make sure that Maine businesses, get the incentives, get the help that they desperately need. And we're, obviously still in a lot of trouble with a lot of businesses across the state because of COVID. Restaurants that haven't been able to open back up or are still struggling. So many people that are way off of, their normal economic activity. So while I understand, the governor's reasoning, I just want to make sure that people understand that legislative process is the governor can give us a proposal, but at that point it's ours as a legislature, and I think we all understand from listening to our constituents that this is very problematic, what has been proposed, and it is only a proposal. I got it just like everybody else on Monday, and was very concerned about it to start with. So we're going to be working on this. I see the governor has rethought her position, wants to work with businesses and the legislature to come up with something that is better than what she proposed on Monday, which is really good. I've certainly heard from a lot of my constituents, which is great. I always appreciate hearing people explain to me their positions on issues that are important to them, and what you heard on Monday is not going to be what the legislature actually goes forward with, and I would encourage people to keep reaching out, explaining how this is going to affect you, and we're going to make sure that we sit down here with our colleagues, across both Democratic and Republican spectrum, and come up with something that is much better for the people of the state of Maine, certainly for our small business community. So on Wednesday night, we had a Teletown town hall meeting, something that we've certainly been trying to do more of to make sure that we can have town halls, across the state. Traditionally, I like to do them in person, but as it is now, these teletown halls are probably our best opportunity. The one we had last night was extremely well attended on our Patients' Bill of Rights for COVID-19. We heard, people that were actually in University County getting their vaccines, 2 81-year-olds that had gone to get their vaccines yesterday that were so appreciative. You could hear it in their voice. One person from Hamden, who was a healthcare worker, talking about how incredibly hard her and all her colleagues in the healthcare field are working to try and make this happen for people across the state. It was really quite an emotional, town hall as far as the thoughts and concerns, and then we obviously had a lot of conversation about how people can get their vaccines. And the trouble with us not having enough vaccines as a state in the country at this point. But the idea of this legislation is to try and get us back on track as soon as possible, trying to get us to what we would all know as normalcy if we weren't in the COVID-19 crisis. So the way things are with the Maine legislature, now we're starting to get into the public hearings, and because of COVID-19, talked about the virtual aspect of public hearings, how people can access these public hearings, from one end of the state to the other. I mean, it is different, but, obviously being able to access it is probably going to be better than ever. And so I want to make sure people know we're going to, have a link here so that you can look at all the bills that are coming up for the next week. But some of the ones I wanted to highlight was, certainly for my area, I have a bill on Tuesday for the Lorne Development Authority. We've had certainly some struggles there. Trying to make sure that we can attract businesses to Aroostook County. We have a good opportunity there, but need some help, and that bill is certainly designed to try and bridge that gap to bring businesses to Aroostook County. In addition, on Tuesday, Representative Denise Tepler, who's chair of Health Coverage and Insurance Financial Services Committee, she has a bill on surprise medical billing, something that I'm very supportive of. On Wednesday, Senator Nate Libby has a bill to provide health insurance for retired firefighters, which obviously firefighters do such unbelievable work for all of us. And then on Thursday, Health Coverage Insurance, Financial Services, Transportation have confirmation hearings for positions in state government that have to be confirmed by the Senate. But like you said, we're going to list or put that link for all the bills, because there may be something that you're more interested in and want to know about. We're also going to include a link for the 3-year work plan for the Department of Transportation, so that you can see what projects are being fixed over the next 3 years in our area with the Department of Transportation. Certainly we need a lot of work on our roads and bridges. COVID crisis has hurt funding in that regard, but this is the funding and the projects that they're going to do over the next 3 years, and I encourage people to look at it and see what's coming up in our area. So this week was International Remembrance of the Holocaust. It's actually been 46 years since the liberation of the Auschwitz camp, and Senator Breen has a joint resolution to make sure that we never forget what happened there, the crimes against humanity, the unbelievable evil that was perpetrated on people because of their heritage. And so this is obviously a big deal, and something that I don't think anyone probably can forget, but we want to make damn sure that we talk about it so that it is never forgotten. And so I don't know what the word is, but certainly being part of that remembrance is a big deal, and I certainly want to be part of that. Big week. Certainly next week's going to be just as hectic. But I want to thank everyone. Look forward to speaking to you next week. Again, we're going to include those bills, give you a highlight of what's coming up, and I encourage people to check that link out and look at what things are coming up that may interest you in getting involved in. Take care, and we'll see you next week.